Hello!
And welcome back!
To 428 Shibuya Scramble.
Yes, because that is the game that we are currently streaming.
Yes. So we got a to be continued.
Yeah, with Ashi's story.
With Achi's story.
Last time, yeah.
Yeah. So now we need to go in and continue other stories.
Yes. You have two, and you haven't started in this time slot yet.
Yeah.
And then you have two, where you have to be continued.
Have we been locked out on any?
Yeah, that's what I mean by the two be continues. But you can, at least Thomas, you can swap.
Yeah.
I believe also the Osama's story can also be unlocked.
Hmm.
So you basically can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Yeah. So, let's see.
That one we finished.
Yeah. So we did all of this. We have a keep out
We
on
got
Tama.
two that have been locked and two that we haven't started.
We can probably jump over to Thomas from this one if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it has to be the same time.
Yeah.
So, or as in the next time that we will play as Tama. And the one for Osama should be that one.
Yeah. But let's start with these, and let's do the jump ones afterwards.
Yep.
So let's go in with Mirikawa.
Mirikawa, everybody's
Or should
favorite.
we save the best for last?
Never. Everybody's favorite journalist, surveillance cameras. It's the goal.
Mirikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chiyoko's phone call had thrown him for a loop. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had scheduled his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiyoko would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her own end. He headed down Dogansaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on streetlights all over the place. There were so many it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. One over there, another just over here. Electronics eyes peering down on passerby from high above where they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to the situation? Hey, you there! Mirikawa called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. Hey, you, stop! The man...
The man? Who is this man?
Brought his bike to a sudden stop. We've seen him before.
Yeah. Taipei Yasuda, proprietor of a knick-knack shop in Kagamatsu. Roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering along the JR tracks, picking up lost and abandoned items, Achi's voice set off his trash onto him. And so he is a bit of a foul mood. Since then, he's been going along on his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. Yeah, it's that guy.
Yep. Huh? What's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name's Mirikawa. Minoru Minorikawa.
Yes, it's a bit of a tongue twister in it.
Yeah. I'm a freelance writer. Okay. I'm just doing interviews for a magazine and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? 4-Star General Gossip. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Minorikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby.
He's not even gonna take a no for an answer. He's just like, look at it! Tell me what you feel.
What? The man asked. The blimp?
No, not that blimp.
The massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead.
A blimp, a type of aircraft that floats using the lift provided by an enormous envelope filled with lighter than air gas. This envelope, the balloon, is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been hovering about the skies above Shibuya since last night. And obviously there's more I can't be on it because that is the only one that they legally could put in the game.
Yeah. No, the camera. The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that. What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all through Shibuya. They're taking in anything and everything, privacy be damned. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Oh, really?
Hey.
Oh, really?
For real?
Oh, real? For real?
For real?
Dude. He muttered uneasily to himself. I guess you should be careful next time I go picking up stuff. Hey, what are you talking about? Minorikawa asked.
He asked the wrong person.
Oh, nothing. Just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyhow, I think there are some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Minorikawa asked.
Such as?
Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right?
Not me though.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I am? The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. Are you hiding something from me?
Huh?
No, nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all, really? Well, whatever, Minorikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in the arresting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched. What?
He is utterly confusing, this guy.
For instance, how would you like if someone set up a security camera inside your home?
That's
What do you
illegal.
I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you could be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument?
No!
You're the one making the extreme argument here. What? The man stared bewildered.
Minorikawa.
You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses? Yeah, I guess I am, the man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. The man huffed in indignation.
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 Yes, we know how to word.
I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a noble enough opinion to want to bring down crime, but also protect privacy. Well, yeah, so if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Minorikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive.
How dare you be
Naive
positive
about
about the topic I have to write about?
By now the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Your smartphones know everything you do.
Yeah. You have one conversation and suddenly you get an ad for it.
Yeah.
Like literally an hour later, it's like, how did they know? I didn't even search.
So Mirikawa's not wrong.
No, I'm saying he's not wrong.
A simple change in a camera angle is all it'll take to steal the last trace of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't that general gossip get all its scuttle by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Mirikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about, Mirikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I'll write it up in the form of a top-class socially conscious expose. That's the Mirikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes. Please, as if anyone's ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to distribute personal...
Distribute?
Yes, distribute.
Distribute personal privacy. Never heard that one before. Tell me, how does that work?
I think what I was thinking of was distribute personal information. Which is what our phones do.
That's no fun. I was asking how you could come up with a way where that would work.
Distribute personal privacy. Porta potties.
What?
Porta potties.
Okay.
You know what those are, right?
No.
Oh, it's a portable toilet.
A what?
Portable toilet.
Oh!
They're called porta potties.
Well, if it doesn't have a bidet, I don't want it.
Oh, it has no functions at all.
Exactly.
This is a bucket.
Exactly. It doesn't have a bidet, and no thank you. That's one thing I've learned from staying in Japan for months, is that I don't want to go back for bidets.
Do you think... What do you think? Is that a guitar or a bass?
I don't know, the neck seems a bit long, but it's hard to say. If it's electronic, you can't really distinguish it necessarily.
No.
Don't know. Most likely a guitar, honestly, but...
Leopard colored shoes.
Zeros!
I thought that was mostly for women.
Japan!
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Remember, Japan is like... Gender? What? But then when it comes to some things, they're like, gender. Better fucking follow them.
Also,
Yeah,
one of the things I'm slightly worried about moving to Japan, being trans. It's not gonna be easy.
I mean, just out in your normal about day, nobody's gonna give a fuck.
Yeah.
Honestly, it will be more like stuff like your working place,
Mm.
or places like a bathhouse could be a problem.
Yeah. Oh. But not me. Oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And you want to know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it.
I mean, at least he lives by the whole gossip. He doesn't care about privacy. Your privacy is his business, basically. That's what he's saying here.
Mirikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed.
He was already having a bad day. We're just making it worse.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for him at all. He's probably a thief anyways.
Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day, if the alternative is some weird gossip piece. This time Murakawa didn't have a handy retort.
Aw.
An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see. Murakawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Murakawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me.
What? He's still confused.
The man peered up at Murakawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox.
Just your interview style? You do that all the time, Murakawa, not just when you're interviewing someone.
Buddy, you're a weirdo. You know that? The man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot, Murakawa laughed.
Or something to that effect.
So can I go now? Sure. I'll quote you as passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his bicycle.
Alright, next person.
Murakawa now had some material for a surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he had managed to put together so fast.
Or maybe
so
we
far.
don't need any more people.
He decided to head towards his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy.
Ducky duck!
Yeah.
On the second and third floor, no less.
Hmm.
Hey! They have Lotteria! I saw that in Japan. It's a fast food chain, in case you're wondering.
He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokane building where the Burning Hammer demo was being held was just down Center Guy. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building.
Cola po cafe.
He spotted a cafe up ahead. Coffee, please, he shouted as he strolled inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock working on his article.
If you say coffee, please, they're gonna have to ask you what kind and if you want it hot or cold. You can't just say coffee, please, not in Japan. They're always gonna ask if it's gonna be hot or cold.
That's the Spirikawa for you.
Yeah.
If you couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Murakawa's little trigger for going into writing mode.
He would hate writing in this day and age. In Japan, you can't write anywhere unless you go into a smoking dedicated room. You can't even smoke on the street!
Nope, that's good.
You can only smoke on like the small like alleys when you're not walking.
Yeah.
Technically the same set for phones, but people do it anyways in Japan. People are glued to their phones in Japan.
Yeah.
So yeah. Writing mode. State of being in the mood to write some text. I'm never in that mood.
I'm in that mood sometimes. Typically when I wake up from having a weird dream.
I'm not. As Murakawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. He has no life outside of his work.
No.
He is his life. But he'll sometimes go into writing mode and food mode at the same time. Sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. That's not healthy.
No.
When he's even busier, he'll eat right mid-interview while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. I wish I could have that kind of energy.
He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea of his article came to his head, nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was to get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up.
Low ass laptop.
Took you long enough, pal, he muttered to the computer. His hands on the keyboard like a predator pouncing on its prey.
Yeah, listen to that rock song.
In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up the screen.
Gosh, I'm so happy I don't have to write any more essays and stuff for Danish class. Oh, next door.
A waiter stepped up beside him. Excuse me, sir. But Mirikawa wasn't writing mode. He didn't even hear her. Sir? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Again, Mirikawa was deaf to the waiter's attempt.
You can't smoke in here!
Sir, excuse me, the waiter smacked the table. Quiet, Mirikawa snapped. He slammed the table right back. Don't interrupt me while I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you. The waitress didn't so much flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Mirikawa's face.
Ikumi Omiya, employee at colourful cafe. While appearing cute and diverse at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. I wonder what kind of hobby that is.
Oh boy.
Play Yakuza, you'll know more. One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry."
Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking.
I told you couldn't smoke.
Mirikawa blinked. Huh? This is a non-smoking establishment, sir. No smoking? Mirikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall.
No!
The words "no smoking" were spelled out clear as day. We ask that patrons please not smoke so that other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee. The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. A woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at her.
Would you believe, though, that in Japan there are actually some establishments that are still where you can smoke freely? Obviously, you can just choose to not go in there. It's usually small cafes and stuff.
They also exist in Denmark.
Yeah. But I've never really run into one in Denmark. So that's just
no, it's usually pubs and whatnot.
Yeah, this is not. This was a normal cafe.
Okay.
Because Japan doesn't really have pubs like that.
Hmm.
They have izakayas, and some of them are also free smoking, but most of them are not anymore.
You guys don't know the first thing about aroma of coffee, Mirikawa scoffed. The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke.
I beg to differ!
The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. But this time, she didn't point at the sign, she pointed at the door. Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside.
Oh, man.
Some time later, sitting inside the cafe, Lodrick Mirikawa lit up his third cigarette. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe.
Ah, yes. In recent years, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking section in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like Lodrick especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to help keep the interior more agreeable for those who do not smoke. Yeah, that ain't working for shit. I have seen one of the rooms that are smoking rooms because sometimes there are cameras because they're outside. And it's just smoke. You can barely see anything, so clearly that's not working.
Now he was in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. Today, you hear me? A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers shouting, "You're breaking up with that fellow today!"
Well, I wonder who that is.
Murikawa's fingers drifted to a halt.
Hello.
He looked around to see where the voice had come from. An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. Please, Dad, the woman pleaded. Stop! You're making a scene. Ah, a father and daughter, then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously towards his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Murikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? No, he reminded himself that he needed to finish the article.
What will you choose?
Probably need to finish the article.
That's probably more important right now.
Besides, if this young lady looked anything like her father, he'd just as soon pass. Murikawa went back to his typing. It took a few minutes to re-establish his writing groove, with the two still bickering across the room. But thankfully he soon regained his focus.
Woo! Beep. Beep. Beep.
What's that? A strange beeping sound broke Murikawa out of his writing reverie.
Reverie, I think, yes, that is how
Probably
it's
his
spelled.
laptop dying from battery. Upon looking up in confusion, he found his attention.
He found his attention. That's a typo.
He found his attention drawn to a young woman at another table, and then one of these, and one of these. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Oh.
Hello.
Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese-style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roast spaghetti, 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait.
One chocolate parfait.
Halfway.
That's a lot of food.
1 chocolate parfait and 1
Deluxe
chocolate
chocolate parfait. Oh my god, that's a lot of chocolate.
parfait. Will that be all? Waitress anxiously awaited confirmation.
Chiyoko Kakinuma, a second-year student at Midoriyama Academy's law school. She was hassled by a pair of hustlers on her way to work and showed up 5 minutes late for her shift. The manager told her that those 5 minutes were coming out of her pay, so she's a bit irritated right now.
You forgot the large caramel shake. The customer was full-figured young woman ensconced.
I think.
Yeah. At a
Not that I've
nearby
ever seen
table.
that work before.
Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. That'll do it for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes. She actually planning to ordering more after that?
Have you seen her? Have you met this woman? This woman eats and she never stops.
Yeah. Marveling at this display of appetite, Murikawa went back to typing.
Now what?
You heard the strange beeping sound again. Subtly different than the first time. And this time it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that? I need to get to the bottom of this. Or I'll never be able to concentrate. Just where the heck is that sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag.
Yeah.
He pulled out one of the most important
A
tools
butt
of his
detector!
trade,
You just happen to have that on you.
an instrument for finding listening devices. Since wireless listening devices emit radio signal, bug detectors are designed to use wide area receivers to reveal their presence. Using a detector to find something in this fashion is known as fox hunting. It was on and it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information was life. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in his line of
I
work.
suppose.
With the device in hand, Mirikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. He stood up. "Everyone, your attention, please," he announced. "Someone's set up a listening device in here." Several cafe patrons turned their heads in disbelief. A woman breathed in pungent perfume, flashed him.
Oh, wait, that's the wife!
Yeah. "Oh, come on, that's ridiculous."
That's why there's probably a listening device on her.
"There's something fishy going on. The only thing fishy right now is you," the woman declared disdainfully. "Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals?" "No, I smell a scoop."
Trying to get you myself that scoop! Just like Lala Hart would say.
"You, what's your name?" "None of your business, that's what." "Now hurry up and stop that awful noise." The other customers were staring and starting to murmur loudly. "There's a listening device here, folks," Mirikawa said. "How can that not bother you?" "Do you know where it could be?" "Excuse me," the woman called out. "Could someone please do something about this man?" A waitress hurried over. "Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers." "There's a listening device in here. That's what people should be bothered by right now." The waitress took a reflexive step back at the words "listening device." "You're the one who's intruding on everyone," the woman shouted. "Honestly, could you please stop that racket? It's not me making the racket. It's the bug tracker. Just who the hell do you think you are?" Police! Somebody call the police!" "Ma'am, please calm down," the waitress said. "There are other customers here and..." "I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful bore out of here. All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that."
Technically they can.
The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. "You sure got a lot of nerve," the woman said. The woman snapped at Mirikawa. "Go play detective someplace else." "I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter." "Really now? By far my least favorite profession." "Oh, and why is that? Did someone write a story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet?" "You shut your mouth. How dare you!" "Yeah, I smell a scoop here, all right. And the smell is coming from you." "Oh, stop it with your scoop nonsense already. It's no use trying to hide things from me."
Recognizing the music?
Yeah. "You have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, yes, I do, lady." "Go to hell. After you. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. As they shouted over each other, the words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. The onlookers could hear only indistinct, meaningless raving.
Well, better not listen for that, huh?
And still the yelling went on
And on and on and on!
Eventually there came the sound of approaching sirens. But even when a police cruiser pulled outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering.
They just kept arguing for all eternity. Dead end! Sniffing for a scoop. Minarikawa lost his cool and got drawn into an argument with a stranger, giving no thought to the consequences. By the time he came to his senses, in a jail cell, it was too late to say for such general gossip. Maybe worrying about weird noises can wait. Right now, finishing up that article sounds like a better idea. You think?
Maybe.
Hirikawa's just like, let's go! And then he ends up in prison afterwards. Oh, the jail cell. Alright, well, never mind. Need to focus on finishing this article.
Yeah. Mirikawa immersed himself in writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound.
She's still looking at the menu.
The plump young woman set about devouring all the food she ordered, despite the strange looks she was getting. Now that was an appetite to be reckoned with. It took her under 3 minutes to polish up the lot. Then, looking not the least bit sated, she picked the menu right back up. Was she seriously going to order more?
Sounds expensive. That's my main worry.
Mirikawa was starting to take an interest in this young lady. There might be a story here. He conjured up a series of headlines in his mind. Woman inhales 3,000 calories in 3 minutes.
30,000 calories.
That's insane.
No! 3,000 is close to the normal for a day. 30,000 is extreme. This is the equivalent of 100 pieces of shortcake, 300 glasses of milk, or enough steak and rice to feed about 30 people. Oh.
No, he needed something with more punch. Food for thought, an expose on obesity. No, that was no good. He wasn't writing for a fashion mag here. A gourmet day in Shibuya. That was it. He'd be able to whip something up if he went with the foodie angle. Mirikawa got up from his seat. That's pretty impressive, he said to the hungry diner. Do you always eat that much? The young woman glared back at him. Not always, he said. Suddenly tension filled the air. Oops, was that way too blunt for me? Of me? I mean, she is a young lady after all. Maybe I should change up my approach. Who the heck are you anyway? The woman asked. I'm a freelance writer. I was hoping I could do an interview with you real quick. You want to interview me? The suspicion was plain on her face. I do. I mean, girls all over the world worry about the diets, right? I hear that, yeah? So, would you be willing to share your secrets, or your technique, or whatever, for how to eat without getting fat? What? Me? Sure, I mean, look at the figure you're maintaining, despite eating all this food.
And here we go. That's all you needed to do.
The young woman's expression brightened up. Oh, you noticed? There's actually a lot that goes into all this. Yeah. The basic thing, though, is to eat 10 meals a day. Mirikawa struggled to keep his jaw from dropping. 10 meals a day? She flashed him with
She
chocolate
looks
sheep
so
crisp.
happy with herself right now.
You don't know how diets work, do you? She chuckled. Eating only 1 or 2 meals a day. That's what'll make you fat. You gotta space your food out into smaller portions throughout the day. That's the fundamentals of dieting, right?
And she took that to an extreme. She eats 10 meals.
Right. What happened to the smaller portions part? Mirikawa had to bite his tongue. Ah, I see, he said. Any other pro-dieting tips you could share? Well, for the basics, I'd say always drink protein instead of tea, yeah? Protein all day? Seriously? Once again, it took all of Mirikawa's willpower to keep his thoughts to himself. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's this stuff called Burning Hammer too. But she trailed off with a little wince.
Wait.
Mirakawa perked up. Did you say Burning Hammer? Oh, you know? I've heard of it anyway, Mirakawa replied. He decided he was better off keeping his plans to head to the sales demo a secret. There's a sales demo later on if you're interested, the woman said as if she were reading his thoughts. Though, full disclosure, I'm working for them right now. She handed Mirakawa an advertising pamphlet. There was a more detailed map of the venue included. What a stroke of luck! Now he didn't need to rely on the crummy map in the project proposal anymore. He'd have no trouble finding the venue with the building's various floors all broken down for him. And actually, I gotta go get back to work, the woman said. Sure, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hang back and finish up my copy here. The woman left the cafe and Mirakawa went back to his laptop. She hasn't paid.
What?
She hasn't paid for her food.
Guess we'll see now.
He'd gotten some new info on Burning Hammer, on the Burning Hammer sales demo, but he also lost some more time. The surveillance camera piece still wasn't finished. It was going to be a near thing to get it done before the sales demo started. Yet instead of returning to his writing, he got out his cell phone. What if Toyama had gotten another of his crazy ideas? If he'd tried to hang himself again? The thought had Mirakawa too worried to work on his copy. The phone rang several times before someone picked up. Mr. Toyama, where are you right now? Mirakawa asked. Right now? I'm on the run somewhere near Shoto.
On the run? Shoto, an upscale residential district, despite being smack dab in the middle of the city, is a quiet neighborhood, rife with greenery. The residence of the former governor of Tokyo is here, built on a massive 2,200 square meter plot of land. There's a shady hotel. What?
Jeebus.
Yeah. There's a shady hotel district a short walk to the south, making for quite the juxtaposition. Remember what that place is?
Toyama was speaking in an oddly hushed tone. Shoto? After you left the office, some guys came by to collect on my debts. So I made a run for it. Okay, so he wasn't dead, but the situation was still pretty bad. Look, we'll get you through this somehow, Mirakawa said, hoping it was true. Just keep your head down and stay out of trouble. Stay where you are now. You need to get back to the office ASAP.
What are you gonna choose?
Let's just go with A for now. Stay where I am? But what am I supposed to do? Toyama's voice dropped in and out. It sounded like he was moving quickly. Find some place to hide and just lay low for a while, Mirakawa told him. Alright, Toyama said weakly. He hung up. Mirakawa let out a deep sigh, then turned back to his laptop.
Keep out!
Cool.
Also, I will happily oblige in telling you that people don't pay at the table in cafes in Japan.
Okay.
They take their... what is it called? Bill?
Receipt.
No.
Or bill.
It's a bill. I haven't paid it.
Yeah, okay.
Go up to the entrance, pay it at the cashier at the entrance, and then they get a receipt. And then they go.
Okay. I see. Did she ask for a bill? I don't think she did.
They always come with it.
They always come with it.
Usually when they come with the drinks, they come with the bill.
Okay.
And so they turn it upside down. So if you order more, they're gonna have to write more on, but they'll just make another bill. Or write more on if it's here.
Well, I think we'll take a break here, and then we'll come back and do Kano's story.
Yeah.
See where we get here.
That's his story.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a certain character to be introduced. He should come soon. But maybe it's the next. I don't know.
We'll see. Well, we'll be back. Right back.
Yes.
Welcome back from break. It was maybe a bit long, but we needed it.
It's fine.
Oh well.
That's about
I
the
hope you got
toilet
to get up, stretch, and cycle your fluids, even though I forgot to tell you to do that.
At some point, they're gonna have to learn themselves, right? Okay. Please.
No, that's not gonna happen.
Aww.
So, let's continue on with Kano. See what we
how
get
far
with
we
him.
can get with him, yeah.
Yeah.
He will finally talk to his coming father-in-law, I think is the right term. Because they're fiancés, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go. Kano.
Kano had been watching syndicate members hand off the attaché case for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, right. He's been doing that the entire time.
He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at the moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe.
Lots of foreigners.
Yeah. He watched as the case was handed off once more. By now, the shock of seeing it passed to yet another accomplice had worn off. It's already been 90 minutes, huh?
Oh, yo, what up, Sasayama?
It was Sasayama. At some point, he crept up on Kano from behind.
He bought something.
They don't seem like they're trying to get away at all, Kano said. They're just walking. What could they be up to? Sasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. Kano recalled dictum 89.
Hells yeah, dictum number 89. I can't read that. There you go. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. You know, except for the facts that when they're not relevant, they're sometimes not relevant.
If Tatoo's wisdom held true, the Syndicate must have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw the investigators off their scent? No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. What if that's exactly what they're after? Buying time? Kano felt a sudden conviction that he was on the right track. If they needed more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment. Wait, hold on. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? The ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore?
What do you think is most likely?
Probably switched.
So,
It's more likely.
it's at least easy to do.
It made a certain amount of sense. I handed the case off to one accomplice after another. They were leading detectives to pay more attention to the individuals than the case itself. That could enable them to swap the case while at the focus, all the focus was elsewhere. I don't get this hunt with Sasayama. I see. I mean, it is a possibility. Yeah, we might be following the wrong case. There was palpable tension in the air now. Kano, Sasayama said, you gotta report it to Kusei. On it! Kano's hand flashed to his wireless, but Kusei was dismissive. No, that's the case, I assure you. No offense, sir, but how can you be sure? Kusei sighed. Because that's my job. There's an ID tag in that case that allows us to keep the tabs on it. There's no way these crooks could have whipped up a duplicate. ID tag? What ID tag? Wait, no, that's right. Kano had forgotten all about that detail in the wake of his all-nighter. Oh, right. Don't you oh-right me. Clearly you weren't hired for your brains. Focus on what you're good at. Kusei ended the call with still Kano. He couldn't shake his conviction that something was wrong.
That man again who came to take it the first time.
Yeah. The man with the attaché case made his way back to Shibuya Station. The heck, Sasayama grumbled? He's right back where we started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya Station, a girl approached the suspect. She was Japanese and entirely unlike any of the other criminal accomplices. She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the pad but did not slow down. Within moments he had left her behind. It looked like she'd just passed him a message. Well, that's sure fishy, Sasayama
Very
muttered.
sus.
What?
Bitch, she's just a normal person though.
The girl? Asked Kano. Yeah. Wanna go hit her up? Sasayama could only mean one thing, questioning her. She can't be involved with this case, can she? Sasayama flashed him a skeptical look. Don't you let preconceptions get the better of you. Could get you killed.
Preconceptions, fixed notions one has about something before the facts are known, can be a hindrance to thinking freely. If you think about it too hard, you might fall victim to the preconception that preconceptions themselves are always bad. That was some inception shit.
I know that, but still, she doesn't come across as involved to me. Kano knew better than to judge people based on appearance, but he was still convinced the girl wasn't part of his game. She just struck him as far too inept, really. Alright, I'll go look into the girl, Sasayama said. You keep following the attaché case. Kano nodded and hurried after the man. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all the criminals who'd handled the attaché case had been wearing the same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them.
Most likely actually what they want. Want them to follow them.
That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after, though. The longer Kano kept hearing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan, whatever it was. The very first page of the diary spelled things loud and clear on that front.
Dictum number 1.
Hammer.
Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever!
Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostages' safety. I don't know.
Your brain just went.
Yeah, I just had a blackout there. This was a situation where Tasuno would have stuck to his guns for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago.
3 years ago!
A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused his place in gasoline. Kano had just been put on police box duty and was ordered to the scene because his box was just down the street from the standoff.
Police box duty. Nobody is assigned to a detective post right after graduating from the police academy. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected for detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. Yep. That's also because Japanese police is involved in so many other things compared to many other countries. So, it would make sense.
Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance of the first floor. Things were getting heated. Hey. A crowd of alarmed onlookers had started to form as well. You know, he's poured gasoline everywhere.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was sniggering at you.
Step aside, a voice said suddenly from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man in a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. I'm sorry, sir, Kano said. You have to stay back for your own safety. He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. I'm Detective Tasuno from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation? Oh, sir, I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Kano stammered, then quickly explained. He hasn't taken any hostages, but there are still people on the upper floors of the building. Giving only a slight nod, Tasuno marched straight up to the building.
Damn. He knows no fear, apparently.
The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground out front. Tasuno picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. Kano was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. I've covered myself with gasoline too, Tasuno called out from the entryway. The tension in the air ratcheted itself up several notches. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Kano heard the burglar shouting from inside. If you gotta do it, Tasuno called out. We can die together. And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. Tasuno was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching a lighter with his hands trembling. His expression was like that of a frightened child. Tasuno slowly approached him and took firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. Tasuno handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then warily sat down against the planter out front. It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama.
Because, you know, it is a police drama.
That was amazing, Kano breathed. You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. You let a situation like this even get a little out of hand, and you never know how things might go south on you. Tasuno spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, Kano noticed that there were children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything unless you do the same. Kano still remembered the awe he felt at Tasuno's matter-of-fact tone. Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Rumi happy if he became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants tended to stay afloat in times of recession, and his time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for the job. He'd never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace. But now here he was in the presence of a detective who literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. A police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect. Ever.
And thus is the birth of the Dick Diary.
Yeah. Getting back to his feet, Tatsunus tucked off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. Kano wrote the words in a notebook he'd just purchased. Thus the Dick Diary was born.
See, that's what I said.
Thinking back to the way Tatsuno had put his life on the line, to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Mario Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. Shoot, it's bleeding pretty bad, he heard someone say behind him.
That's the guy that actually beat up. I remember?
He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. There was a towel wrapped tightly around the third's head. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth, Kano blanched. Can the attitude, he's trying to help, another voice cut in. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I ain't afraid to kick your ass. Look, cut the crap and let me take a quick look. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head.
Damn.
Oh, that's nasty.
I guess that's the guillotine.
Yeah. The young guy was a little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. Okay, so the question is, should we help him or...
No, the question is, should we call juvenile affairs or take him to a hospital?
Oh.
And by calling juvenile affairs, you can continue your work. And that's it. And by calling juvenile affairs, you can continue your work.
Yeah. They couldn't just leave him like this, but they were in the middle of a job. They should probably call juvenile affairs.
Part of the communal safety section, which handles crimes pertaining to public decency, finances, pollution, and so on. Juvenile affairs deals with misconduct and criminal activity involving minors. Since many SOS members are underage, the Shibuya Precinct's Juvenile Affairs Division has been ramping up its efforts to deal with the gang. Although one detective in particular has been using this as an excuse to go on patrol at arcades, ignoring his duties in order to fuel his video game addiction. I wonder who they're talking about.
Kano took out his cell phone so he could call the precinct, but Sasayama stopped him, then showed it to youngsters his badge. Oh crap, you're a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who are you kids with? Bamfs?
The AMX, Shibuya's #2 gang, its leader Sohei Ikari, damn that's the name, has gathered up some big mean dudes in an attempt to make Shibuya his turf. The gang's leadership is inferior to that of SOS, but on an individual level its members tend to be stronger in a fight. Word is that the rise of the BMS, because apparently it's plural, is one of the reasons SOS has been growing more combative recently. Ikari basically means hatred! So I was like, damn, that's a name.
SOS? SOS. Admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't like that. What was it like then? Infighting? The young man was silent. Sasayama must have been right on the mark.
He
In
is
court-
part of juvenile affairs, Satayama that is. So he knows exactly how to deal with these crooks.
In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt about the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it, I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get him there. The young man battered off Sasayama's offered hand, then quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with all this infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young men as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's been pretty rough. You know, what with the original leader leaving and all. The detectives in juvenile affairs were well acquainted with SOS's
Original leader! That would be Achiendo. Initially, SOS was nothing more than a small group of like-minded young people who hung out together, but as its membership grew, the general public began referring to the group as a gang. Word has it that back when Achi was in charge, gang members never started any conflicts themselves, but simply responded in kind when others brought fights their way.
The stories were like something out of some after-school special. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with juvenile affairs took these stories with a grain of salt. But if there really were young people like that out there, Kano hoped to meet them someday.
Well, the man behind this entire organization is one of the main characters, so I wouldn't put it behind him. Maybe you will meet him.
The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry.
That's a sign for a park.
Huh.
I don't know what park. Something Shita Park. That's all I can read.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh well.
You interrupted me.
Oh no. Does it matter?
Probably not.
Probably wasn't important.
They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still, following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. You were right. She's not part of this. Just one of those street evangelists or something. Oh yeah? Yeah, she kept asking me, but are you really happy with your life? Wigged me out. I bailed out of there quick. So, Sasayama, I'm thinking the Atisha case is going to be handed off again at any moment now. Huh? Sasayama appeared at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he'd just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide.
Oh, they're gonna go
Say
against
what now?
orders.
That way we apprehend both perps involved in the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said. But that needs to take priority here. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying a direct order is not something to do lightly.
Disobeying direct orders. A detective's behavior is governed by the Local Public Service Act. Article 32 states that a detective is to faithfully follow the orders of superiors in the course of his duties. Violating this is punishable by a warning, reduction in pay, rest in peace, Certain detective.
Mm.
Suspended from duty or dismissal. In the event of a warning, not only is the individual expected to submit a formal letter of apology, but pay raises may be delayed or performances bonuses cut.
You know what I found funny about your joke there? Rest in peace.
You'll never see
Reduction in
it.
pay. R.I.P.
Yes. I told you what I was doing. Tell the truth here.
Sure.
Poor Gumshoe.
Yeah, scumshoe.
We'll never see him again.
Then, after a moment, he added, "But I'm on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway." "That's Sasayama, I know," kind of replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up.
Having fun?
The two detectives took up positions on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. "You ready?" he asked. "Give the word." There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place, and then... Well.
Well. Did Humphrey the whale?
Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive greeting, the voice dripping with faint...
Oh no! Not again!
He whirled around to
Mama.
see two rough-looking young men confronting a father and his daughter. The older man looked pained. "Please just hold on," he said, placatingly. Placatingly?
I have no idea.
"I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock. The young man snarled. "Don't you try and play dumb with us, buddy. It's nothing like that, I swear. My girl was just hungry, so I stepped out to... Yeah, how come you didn't just order delivery, huh? Ah, yes, right. I suppose that would work too. Don't you me, man." Kind of watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The crook he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. "What's going on over there?" Sasayama asked. "I'm not sure," Kano replied.
Clearly Yakuza of some kind. Look
Looks
at
like
their
some kind of
tire.
argument. The suspects are gonna get away on us. It's gonna screw up the whole handoff. "Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here," Sasayama said. "What?" "Find some way to shut them up and then get over here." "Oh, sure, alright." Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. "Hey, Kano!" He made a run for it. "Huh? Oh crap!" The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off of him. "Wait up!" Kano shouted. Sasayama was racing after the suspect and Kano rushed in to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up in the fact. They soon lost sight of him amidst the teeming crowds.
Oh no!
Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. "We lost him," Sasayama admitted at last. "Damn it!" He stamped his foot onto the asphalt in disgust. "Director Kuze?" Kano gasped over the wireless. "I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the attaché case." There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to weasel out of this one with just an "I'll do better next time." "Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to the precinct. Kuze out." With that, Kuze switched off the line. back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what that meant. They were off the case. There was a gnawing in his gut. If those two punks hadn't showed up, no. If that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. Don't let it get you down, Sasayama said. I mean, paper pushing can be kind of fun. The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all. Not one bit. With the air of two men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trudged back towards the Shibuya precinct.
Oh well. Damn Toyama. Being in the way, huh? Back to the precinct. You can look at the hint.
I don't think I need to, but...
I'm staying off the case because he lost track of the suspect thanks to a random altercation nearby. And his glum conclusion was correct. If that father-daughter duo hadn't shown up, this wouldn't have happened. A certain someone needs to give those two some... Oh, what are you doing?
Talking with the ladder.
I think he was stuck to the thing. A certain someone needs to give those two some better advice, and a certain other someone needs to meet up with them outside his or her door. Both of those are key to changing poor Kano's fate. So there's two things you need to do.
Yeah.
Well, that was a bad end. So now you gotta jump.
You need to get back to the office ASAP. The office? But they'll find me there for sure. Tsuchiyama's voice was a little more than pathetic winter. It's a little bit of reverse psychology. The last place the debt collectors are gonna think you went is back to the office, right? Ah, I see, Toyama said. He sounded impressed by the suggestion. For now, just stay hidden until I can get these articles finished. All right, Toyama said weakly. He hung up.
And now back to laptop. You're still gonna get a bad end. There's still another thing you need to do. But now you don't have the keep out on Minonikawa though.
No.
So maybe you're gonna get a bad end, huh?
Let's try and continue here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
This is a different keep out.
Hmm.
Okay.
There's also a jump earlier. That's Minoru. One there. That's for her father, Kurosawa, and then one earlier, which is for Kama.
Yeah, but that was only to change the bad end.
No, that's a jump to Tama.
Yeah, but that's to change the bad end on this one.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. It's when she's in the attic.
I know. But
It's
you can jump
to this moment.
Tama.
Yeah, to this moment.
Oh, something fucking. Or is it because. No, it's because it goes further down.
Yeah.
Either way, you have to choose a jump. someone.
As you can see.
Okay. I wasn't aware that you used it.
I hadn't.
Okay.
I just kind of assumed that that's what it was gonna do.
Well, the timestamp is set when you jump, so you'll know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see from there
No.
what the timestamp would have been.
So we can go to the father here.
Yeah. Her father. Woo! That's right, we did stop that store just when he sent there.
Yeah. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following you. He has a gun, and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper warned me. Told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Was what I said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze.
Still in the toilet.
Yeah. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were true, why would they go? Why would they go after Hitomi?
Another table.
Yeah.
Why would they go after them?
I suppose you're right, but Ozawa was shaking out right now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down and let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Ozawa keep himself under control. They've taken Maria, the vice director continued quietly.
What a perspective we have here.
Along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? A grudge? Ozawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school and have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory, he suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Ozawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okushi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind, possibly enough to warrant somebody holding a grudge over it. But the only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife, Ai. No, Osawa said, nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind.
How about you just bring him with you?
Yeah. If he didn't make the move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replaced him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. Alright, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or police. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I'm sorry to have to put this on you, Osawa said. And thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted out without thinking, "Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone?" Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over.
Why don't you just explain now?
And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom.
Ah, yes.
Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made that idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations.
Age difference. Mamoru Tanaka is 40 years old. Hitomi is 19, so she's a minor. This makes him just over twice her age. This does not necessarily mean, however, that they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such an age difference between them wind up in a happy committed relationship. She's still a minor, though, in Japanese law.
Trying to put aside his paranoia.
At least back then, she was.
Yeah.
Today, she would be an adult because she's over 18. The law changed recently.
Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet.
Most toilet clogs are caused by a buildup of flushable paper products, or by solid objects inadvertently dropped into the toilet bowl. But shockingly enough, on very rare occasions, they can be caused by someone taking a dump. That happens all the time for me, by the way. That happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Moi. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. I'm not eating. We ate before this.
Oh goodness.
Oh god, hello!
Kachiwara appeared, still toting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets gives me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kachiwara stood watching as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. Then how about you fix the damn toilet? Or thing.
Same.
Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure? You don't mind? Detective asked. Be my goddamn guest. Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand.
Bye!
Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study.
Top secret documents.
He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. The main menu. Music.
Yeah, the main theme of the game. That is not Kamiki's song.
He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door to the study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little piece. Oh my, is that really all you have to say, sir? nary a compliment or encouraging word? Maybe a good job, Kajiwara? Or you're getting a promotion, detective? Osawa blew out his breath.
Oh god, here we go.
How? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superior to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at a victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service.
Ah yes, social media service. An online platform whose primary feature is allowing people to connect with one another. The police exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to, Hoxie, is very strictly regulated, with any abusive language, slander, sexual content, or lame jokes deleted almost immediately.
For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on, obviously. But this summer, a new detective manga is starting up based on me.
Detective manga. Planned for serialization in the MPD's monthly PR magazine, the chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kachi. Chapter 2, Kachi Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kachi Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kachi at Daybreak. Chapter 5, Detective Kajak. Chapter 6, Kachi, Queen of the Street. Chapter 7, Lookout Kachi. Chapter 8, Kachi on the Edge. Chapter 9, Dance Kachi. Dance Kachi, dance! Chapter 10, Space Detective Kachi, and so forth and so on. That's a boatload of references, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I only got half of them.
Also was spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not.
Oh god.
It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you would like to hear about that, sir.
I really would not. Please, stop.
I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop.
Oh no!
In a matter of moments, he the screensaver and booted up a web browser. Hey!
That's not okay.
Don't touch that! But he was too late to stop the detective. The monitor showed the page for IronNet, a fan page devoted to IR comedy.
You know, the song is playing right now.
Yeah. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision go fuzzy. You come to this site regularly, sir? Regularly? Ah, well, I'm not sure. Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of blood flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. Alright, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now, would you please?
No.
Get the hell out of my room, he tried to usher Kajiwara back out the door. Alright, sir, the detective said. Alright, I understand. I'll leave. But before that... Kajiwara slipped his hand into his pocket. I don't need a damn banana. It's not that, Mr. Asawa. I have something that I think may be important to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag.
They look like boarding passes.
Yeah. That's the passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa.
Himself.
In the plastic bag was a plane ticket, specifically to the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. He'd left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet?
I assume, did something?
This looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it.
I'm betting eye on that. She doesn't want him to leave.
He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in.
Damn. Learn to tidy up, lady. There's like one shoe up on the windowsill. What the fuck?
The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about, as if to put her slovenliness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been I who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down in the bed amidst brand-name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet.
A lighter?
It was a gold cigarette lighter.
The letter
Just
M.
when had I picked up smoking, Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. He started out the room. He stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag.
Forced general gossip.
Forced general gossip from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how once one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board.
Sacrificed, allowing someone else to come to harm for one's personal gain. this case, the term is used figuratively, not literally. In case you didn't know.
Hmm. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reason for their union, nothing changed the fact that I was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf.
Well, she clearly paid attention to it.
Feeling disconsolate, um, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamaki's album For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there had been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CDs of the moment as birthday presents for his two girls, and that had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she tossed her copy back to the father's desk, figuring that throwing it away would be a waste. Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded with an intense beat bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked.
Damn.
Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh, he muttered. For tomorrow should have been the CD in the rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment he wondered if he was going crazy and then remembered. It was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it!
No, I can't listen to it here.
Damn it! Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago.
Oh, onto Hitomi's room, I guess.
Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. There he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous and yet still couldn't resist the impulse to find the CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. What's that? Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. I'm out front. That was all Makino said before hanging up.
Damn.
Hurriedly, Usawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Usawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hisui's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as he gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this too. We need to keep this a secret just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antivirals to someone, hadn't he?
And who is that, do you think?
It was the only way. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged towards the front door of his house.
To be continued. Perfectly placed, even.
So that seems to be the one who had to show up.
Sure.
No, apparently not.
No? No, you have to make a choice. For something.
Anyways.
The perfectly placed to be continued, so stop here. It's been a little over 2 hours for us.
Yeah. We've streamed for quite a while now. So,
It's getting late for us.
yeah. So, we will see you guys next time.
Yeah, which is Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
And in the meantime, there should be a video coming out on YouTube as well.
Yeah. We should get that recorded tomorrow. So it can be ready to be up Monday.
Yeah, sometime Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of interesting things going on this episode.
Yeah.
There's blood thickens.
Blood thickens.
Who do you think he used the antiviral on?
I'm not sure yet. I think I might be too tired to think about that right now.
Alright. Well, you figure it out eventually anyways.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had an idea.
Either it's I, or maybe his wife, dead wife.
I think she died way before this.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure when we went overseas last time, like 2 years prior to this game, and I think the wife's already dead at that point. And that's when they did some research and stuff. And then Makino continued to do it in secrecy. If I remember correctly.
Okay.
But one thing I can say is that he brought Maria with him on that show. It's in the anime, so it's pretty easy to look up. Minoru was also there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's time to say goodbye. For now. But we will be back.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
No worries.
No worries.
Unless we won't be back. Then worry. Is that what you say usually?
It'll be fine.
I'm sure we'll be fine. We've got each other after all.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. But see you guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.